Carl, thank you for being so patient with us rebuilding your engine. Steve and I are going to talk to you about it and explain things, and Steve is going to do most of the talking, and he's going to start with the starter.
Alright, you have the early style rubber mounted starter. You can see the gap between the starter and the bear plate here, and you can also see that it'll wiggle a little bit because it's rubber mounted. As a result, the battery cable goes to this bolt on the starter itself, and then there is another little ground strap that's about 2.5 inches long that also goes from this bolt to the bolt that goes through the bell housing that holds the gearbox on. That's a super critical ground strap, because without it the engine doesn't get grounded, and if the engine doesn't get grounded, then the ground strap that goes to the body to ground the body doesn't ground the body, and the ignition system doesn't get grounded, and you'll get a really bad misfire. So remember, when the gearbox goes on, to get the ground strap that goes between the starter and the gearbox, as well as the negative battery cable, and then there will be another ground strap that'll go from the gearbox to a stud on the firewall that grounds the car to the engine to the starter to the battery. Also on your starter, you have what they call a hot start kit. These starters are known, when the engines get really hot, for the solenoid to not pull in reliably, so they put an auxiliary relay on it so that it gets better voltage. That's part of the kit. We'll have the instructions in that. You also have the 190SL Club alternator conversion. It gets rid of the factory generator, puts an alternator on it. It comes with a kit with the wiring terminal, wiring harness, and instructions for that. That will get included. Let's see, what else do we have here? This heater pipe, if you loosen this nut, this will float. So when you go to connect the heater hose in the car, if it doesn't make a nice tidy visual angle, you can loosen this just a little bit and line it and tighten it back up. You got your fuel pump. It's a mechanical fuel pump, and you have a priming lever that you can use to mechanically operate the fuel pump to prime the carburetors. Sometimes you'll have to bump the engine in order to get the cam away in order to be able to reliably pump it. What else do we got going on?
Yeah, tachometer, drive and rebuilt. Got grease fittings on it. Grease it once a year.
You got your carburetors. You have the Weber carburetors on it. We went through all the linkage assembly, got all the offsets right, got all the geometry right so that you have proper clearance to get to the idle mixture screws, and also for the choke arms to work without fouling the linkage. Also, we have spacers on the bell crank to ensure that the throttle linkage rod clears the hose and clears the block and lines up correctly with the original cable or original rod from the accelerator pedal that comes in and connects the bell crank right here.
It needs to be straight so that you have the original geometry from your gas pedal.
We've got the air filters off right now, but the air filters, we'll put new air filters in that'll fit over this.
These are off so that we can tune, and this is the what you need to use to tune the carburetors, adjust the carburetors.
Make sure they're synchronized correctly.
The Synchrometer BK1-35.
We've got made adapters, fittings, so that we could use the original Mercedes fuel line pipe instead of the rubber hose with the banjos that were on it originally with the Webers, just to make it look tidier and all that.
Steve did a great deal of rejetting on the carburetors so that they work much better than before.
Yeah.
The car was not originally designed for both barrels at the same time feeding. So but he made some great improvements.
Yeah, we're hoping that so the Webers, they're too big for the engine, so it's really easy to flood it. This has the chokes and everything, but when it's cold, this engine's cold. We haven't run it, and we did prime the fuel system, make sure we've got the float bowls full and fuel to the carburetors. Best thing to do when it's cold is to try to start it without doing anything and see if it starts. If it does, great. If it doesn't, these have really good accelerator pumps. You can give it, a pump or two of the throttle and then try it again. It shouldn't need the choke unless it's just really super cold.
Well, he's in Chicago area, so it can be super cold. But
yeah, we're sitting at like mid 70s right now, ambient. So it's so we're going to try to start it and see what it does and how it starts. So ignition on.
All right, let me see.
Ready.
Clear. Ready.
Go. That started really well, so we'll take that. We got good oil pressure at idle. Idling a little bit slow because of the fact that it's cold. We're idling about 500 RPM. Considering how cold it is and how slow it is, it's idling really well. And if we get it up just a little bit, once it gets up to temperature, see, we're still don't even have temperature yet.
Unusual for Webers.
Yeah.
But then these are the good ones. These are the ones made in Italy.
Yeah, these are early Italian. Let's see what we got here. Look at this. Let's see.
We won't mess with the Spanish carburetor, the Spanish Webers.
1 1.5, 1 3/4.
Oh yeah, that's right. Show them what we're doing here. We're adjusting airflow. And you're going to do that by adjusting your idle screw.
And what we're trying to do is get all four to read exactly the same.
And you want to do that with a linkage disconnected, so these are all running independently, and then you snap in your linkage.
Right. We're basically, now that it's warming up, look at this. 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. If you were to adjust it, disconnect that, and then this screw is your since these are true 2 barrels, it'll adjust together. See, now we're at 2. We're at 2. Let me lower this back down. That's actually the intake of the carburetor.
Oh, that'd be darn.
Yeah.
That's good. So it's good news.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You didn't bump these ones up, so we got to do those?
No, I didn't. They were already matched.
Okay, well, you put it back in.
Yeah, I put it back, yeah, because we don't have,
Squeaky carburetors. That's the airflow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Since it's breathing through, you're actually hearing the air going through the butterflies. If you need to adjust the idle mixture, these are the idle mixture screws.
We're reaching on our temperature. We haven't thermostat didn't open up yet.
Okay.
We haven't, it's not getting cold yet.
Okay. There, what?
Okay, that just opened up. Okay, good. Excellent. That's normal. All right. Good.
Got 1,000 RPM idle.
No squeak.
No squeak. Running on all.
And what you're going to do is you're going to adjust that in and out, in until the engine stumbles and out until it stumbles and you get to the midpoint in terms of where it runs. Test, idle test. Release, idle, stumble. And then you'll put the throttle, and if it backfires, you open that up a little bit.
Yeah, you basically want this on these Webers. You want it about as lean as you can get it. That's a really nice engine. We got 50 psi oil pressure at idle with engine temperature. 45.
Plenty of oil pressure at idle.
And run up to.
Yep, they really do make that much oil pressure. All right, checking for leaks. You're holding down this rattling table.
Everything looks nice and right to me.
Yep, I'll do a hot start just for fun while we're here. All right, we got you a good engine, Carl. Thank you for your patience and waiting for us for this long.